If you are a bodywork expert, metalwork god, can make laser straight show cars that have won the Riddler Award without using body filler, this video is not for you. This is for people that are living in the real world and want to know how things are done and might want to know how to do it themselves. So, just putting that out there. Mustang, still here. Chevelle also still here. Started on this quarter. Gonna keep working on it some more. Super fun. Wish I had something good to video. It's hard to put out a crappy video every single week of doing the same thing. Of nothing. But yeah. If you can see how dinged up this quarter is. Very bad. Very, very bad. I'm done from here up. So I'll continue blocking on this, finding all my lows, which I don't know why. I should just DA it at this point and skim coat it. But I'm not positive it's that bad back here, so I'm going to run a block over it and see what she looks like. Little 120 grit. Yep, it's bad. Whoa. I was not kidding about that. Thought I was being funny. I mean, what in the world happened to this thing? You know, this thing looks like it's about 54 years old or something. It's ridiculous. So, I'm going to DA this down, scuff it up, and proceed to skim coat this quarter panel. So, I guess that's what I'm going to do. You don't need to tape off body lines like this. I just like to do it sometimes. I just have extra tape and I like to waste it. So sometimes I'll just do this for fun. But really don't need to. But this part's done. This will keep some of the mess off of here, but if you get it on there when you're spreading it, you can just scrape it off with your scraper. Sand it off. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. Like I say, I just like to waste tape. Okay, so get this blown off, cleaned off, wipe it down, get your filler, mix it up however you want. You're gonna get pinholes. If you get pinholes, don't think it's because you mixed it wrong. It's just gonna happen. I kind of just, go like this and stuff, and it doesn't really matter. Try not to do this, but just, keep squishing it around and flatten it out. Just get it mixed up. That's the most important part. Don't have any blue streaks or white streaks of unmixed stuff in there. You're gonna get pinholes. You're gonna fix them later. That's just how it is. And then, just start slapping her on. Make sure to drip as much on the ground as you can. I mean, I like to try dripping it on the ground and then kneeling in it before it's dry. It's one of my favorite moves. Sometimes I just like to get it on here and then move it around after the fact. Let's just go with that for now. If you get a hard chunk of something off your mixing board that you don't clean very well, just take it out and keep on going. Like I say, I like to spread in the direction opposite that I'm going to sand it for the most part. If you want to spread it in the direction that you're going to sand it, that's perfectly fine. Go right ahead. Dumbass. No, you can do that. It doesn't really matter. It's just my preference. I like to use these spreader lines. It's kind of like a guide coat when you start blocking it. If you're real low, you'll know because you won't be hitting those lines. Hit them lines. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if I have this camera in a good spot, a bad spot. But that's pretty much it. I try to eventually get it somewhat smooth and uniform. See, I have another chunk here. Just get it out of there. And you want to first push with firm pressure and work it into the scratches you just have. What I did was I DA'd this with 80 grit is what I was doing there. You want to make sure it's scuffed everywhere. Do not do what they say you can do and spray epoxy and come back the next 1 or 2 days later and just spread it on without sanding. That makes no sense at all. It's an unnecessary risk. Why you would ever do that, I have no idea. So, that's about it. I didn't make enough, or I dropped too much on the floor. One of those two. Otherwise I would have gotten this area here and down here where you can't see. I need to mud those two together and make that flush and stuff. Also try to get as much BONDO on your camera as you can. Also, I got a lot of alsos. If you have a mosquito flying around, go ahead and just try to trap them in here. You get a little bonus round of free filler up here off your tape, and you can take that. Spread it right down there. I'll just keep going over this, trying to make it better and better until I'm either happy with it or it gets hard in the middle of one of these swipes and I screw it all up. Eventually one of the two will happen. Usually the second one. I would cut this short, but since I don't have any more of a video, I'll just keep it rolling. And you can all enjoy. I mean, you'll get better at spreading filler the more you do it. When you first start, it's going to be pretty ugly. In my case, 27 years later, however long it's been, it'll continue to be ugly. Sometimes, no matter how you practice, there's just things you're not good at. And that's okay. Starting to get pretty hard to spread now. And I was able to get that. So that's good. I think I'm all done here. I wanted to kind of get further over there, but I'll just do that with the front half of the quarter panel. I believe I'm pretty much at a time. If it starts to dry on you, push harder and go slower. I'm using Rage Ultra, my favorite. I will never go back to Rage Gold. If I had a can, I'd throw it away. So I think that's what I did. I think I had some and I just threw it away. Some people still like it. It's fine. This definitely sands easier. Alright, well, I'm going to clean this up and we'll come back when I start sanding this. When I say this up, I mean this. I'm going to clean this up right here. If you decide that you're going to use tape to protect something or for fun, take it off before the Bondo gets fully dry. Otherwise, sometimes that can create a mess or something you have to sand off, and who wants to do that? And so I'm almost ready to start knocking this down. I'm going to use 80 grit to start, and 80 grit is where I'm going to finish. So let me get some sandpaper ready. Alright, let me sacrifice a brand new piece of 80 grit while this is still kind of wet. This filler, like I said, it's pretty easy to sand. You can let it get hard. And I still, old habits, I like to hit it when it's still kind of soft and knock it down. I moved you over here to this side. You were on my bad side over there, so now you're over here on my bad side. Sometimes it's fun to play songs. You see, it's still, when it rolls off like this, it's still too wet. So what you want to do then is just keep going. Now if you're using Rage Gold, you pretty much have to do this. You don't have to, but it gets really hard. I know everyone's gonna say, oh well, it's the better, and I put Bondo honey in it, and it makes it really easy to sand. I know. I've used them all. But that's still the one I like. Just like these blocks I don't like, but I like this handle. I don't like the linear blocks because I don't like the round handles. My hands cramp for some reason. If you just start, well, before it's ready to sand it, you just keep going. Eventually it's perfect. It's not there yet, but it's getting closer. if you have a wire brush, you can wire this out, you know, to save on your sandpaper a little more. Because sandpaper is expensive. So generally, I like to waste as much as possible. This is probably my third roll of 80 grit on this car so far. I had a pretty good stash built up, but I've used it all. I need to find some more. You don't want to stand in straight lines. You want to go at an angle. Everybody knows that. Except for the one person watching that didn't know that. And some of the cars I see, it shows that the people did that. They don't know that because you'll see standing lines and body lines. Some people don't know that. I didn't know I couldn't do that. Still not ready yet. Still gumming up the paper. I'll just hit it against my leg. Get the air blower. Try to blow it off. Kinda worked. No, it didn't. As you can see, as bad as that panel looked, it's pretty much all going to come out with one skim coat. There may be some areas where I have to put a little more. But that's it. It's almost to the ready to sand time right now. Take that out now, we can fill it with dust in there. You want to clean out your screw holes before you lose them. Usually, sometimes you'll have emblem holes and you don't want to lose those because that sucks. But this, obviously I can get to and see where it's at. So anyway, that's it. Now you know. You're all now Bondo expert. Just finish this off real quick. Found that I still had a little bit of sandpaper left on this roll. Yes, you want to wear a mask when you're doing this. These areas here, you can get a round block, or you can tilt your block at an angle, set the edge in there, and go at 45s, and just kind of roll it like that. sand too much unless you hit metal. You can keep blocking this flat, keep taking as much off as you can until you hit metal, then stop, because the metal's not going to sand. Finally at the spot where it's sanding really nice. Here's an example of hitting metal. I'm hitting metal right here. This is still low here. I need to stop. I need to scuff this up, and I need to apply some more here. You see I still have a little bit of a low here and here. Those I think will still go away. And I haven't hit metal anywhere else. You see now I'm starting to go through, but this isn't metal, this is still epoxy under there, so you can keep sanding. Feeling pretty good. If you want to finish this out to 120, this is a good time to stop. Well, I'd fix this first, but otherwise this, good time to stop, powder guide coat it, use 120, that would be perfect. I'm going to keep using 80 because I'm not going to go to 120. I'm going to hit this bottom edge a little bit down here, which I haven't sanded at all yet for some reason. See, as you can see, I mean, that sandpaper was still usable. I just love wasting money. And I have crappy sandpaper, so I tend to go through it really fast. Now it's also a good time to jack up the car a little bit so you can get down here and see what you're doing. See over here, I'm just blocking right over that seam. See, I went through already, but it was pretty much, I went through here and here because towards the edge it tends to roll in a little bit, so that's not a big deal. Now let's take, usually I clean that up with a Sawzall blade. or I'll cut down each side with a razor blade. Or you can take a piece of 80 grit, fold it in half, put it in the seam, just start sanding. Sand all the Bondo off each edge so you get your gap back. And then, sometimes I'll round it around the corner a little bit. This isn't done, but this is getting too long, so that's basically, you know, now when it's painted and finished, this will be perfectly flush, you'll have a nice gap, and you can tell everybody that there's no Bondo in your car. So, that's it. That is all it takes, and then on to the next part. Still have to fix that. If you don't want to fix this, just grab yourself a Durablock and sand here, because it'll just go right down into that low spot and fool you into thinking that you're good. So I kept sanding until I started going through more areas. You can see where the lows were. Basically, because you don't want a bunch of filler on there you don't need. So you only want as much as it takes to get it straight. A lot of times you'll strip a car and it'll have tons of filler on it, and you get it all off and you're like, why did this have this on there? I didn't need it. So you can see it needs it because of the way that it is. And I pulled this out a little bit and reblocked it, and it's a little bit low now, so I'm gonna put one quick swipe there, sand it down, and then I'll test fit the light bezel, and if that's all good, which it should be, then we'll be moving on ahead. We put some filler on there. I put too much because I can sand too much off, but I can't sand not enough off. So I'll block this out, and forgot there's a hole back here I buried. Should go ahead and find that. So when this is dry, I'll sand that, and then that'll be it. So just do that. And this basically, yes, I could have metalworked this better. I could have spent days and weeks and months and pulled all these out with a nail gun and filed it and die-cammed it and blocked it and shrinking disked it, and then after that I would have done this exact same thing and skim coated it to get it perfectly straight. So there's that. At some point you get diminishing returns on your time spent doing metalwork. Yes, you want to fix all your rust. Yes, you don't want oil canning metal and big dents, and get it as good as you can and get it good. And I'll be the first to admit, I mean really I should have pulled these out more, but they're not deep. A lot of them, like up here, blocked out just in the epoxy. I fixed the major stuff on this. I didn't want to waste my time. This car has a million dings in it, but they're all super shallow. So it's gonna get skim coated either way. As long as it's not deep, it's just perfectly fine. Now I'm done. I've tried to end this video like 1,800 times. Just kidding. But now I'm done with this one little section of the car right here. Never mind the rest.